Route 66 still matters because no other road tells the American story quite like it. This old highway stretches over 2,400 miles across 8 states, from the Midwest to the Pacific, essentially a drivable timeline of the nation. Since its creation in 1926, Route 66 has symbolized American freedom and opportunity, offering much more than a way to get from point A to B. Drive it today, and you'll pass through living communities and ghost towns, seeing firsthand how the country boomed, busted, and rebuilt. In short, Route 66 is not just nostalgia, it's America's past and present on one road. Route 66 was born in 1926 as part of America's first federal highway system. At the time, car ownership was exploding, and there was demand for an efficient road linking the Midwest to the West Coast. Visionaries like Cyrus Avery of Oklahoma saw the need for a diagonal highway that would connect existing rural roads into one continuous route. Unlike the older straight-line highways, Route 66 cut a clever path through hundreds of isolated towns from Illinois to California, giving farmers and small communities access to national markets. The new highway even slashed the driving distance between Chicago and Los Angeles by over 200 miles, making cross-country travel faster and more appealing. Promoted as the shortest and best route west, U.S. Highway 66 quickly became known as the Main Street of America, delivering a flow of traffic and opportunity to once forgotten places. Almost immediately, Route 66 took on a deeper significance. During the Great Depression and Dust Bowl of the 1930s, it became a road of escape. Facing drought and desperation, hundreds of thousands of people from Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and beyond fled their ruined farms and headed west on Route 66 toward California, chasing the promise of jobs and a better life. The highway earned its famous nickname, the Mother Road, during this era, immortalized in John Steinbeck's 1939 novel, The Grapes of Wrath. For the refugees dubbed Okies, Route 66 was a lifeline, the path to a new start. Traffic swelled with overloaded cars and trucks, and even though these were hard times, the migrants brought business to gas stations, diners, and camps along the way. In an ironic twist, the worst hardship of the era actually kept Route 66 alive and bustling as desperate travelers filled the cafes and motor courts on their westward trek. After World War II, Route 66 transformed from a road of hardship to a road of leisure and adventure. When the war ended and gas rationing eased, millions of Americans hit the road to enjoy their newfound prosperity. Car ownership in the U.S. skyrocketed, doubling in the decade after the war, and families set out on cross-country vacations like never before. Route 66 became America's ultimate road trip highway. People drove west to marvel at the Grand Canyon, visit the shiny new Disneyland in California, or just to see the Pacific Ocean. Roadside businesses along 66 boomed in the 1950s. Bright neon signs and giant billboards beckoned motorists to stop and get their kicks. Mom-and-pop diners served up burgers and pie 24/7. Auto camps and motels with colorful names, Blue Swallow, Wigwam Village, the Wagon Wheel, lined the highway, offering weary travelers a cheap room for the night under glowing neon lights. Car culture was in full swing, and Route 66 was its main street. The road's image flipped from Grapes of Wrath-style gloom to upbeat fun and freedom. An infectious hit song in 1946 immortalized the phrase, "Get your kicks on Route 66," and a popular TV series in the early 1960s sent two young guys cruising the highway in a Corvette, solidifying Route 66 as a symbol of adventure. In the public imagination, Route 66 had become more than pavement. It was a place to chase dreams, enjoy the open road, and experience the quirky slice of Americana that flourished along its edges. The rise of Route 66 brought prosperity to countless small towns that lay along its path. Places that had been mere dots on the map suddenly found themselves teeming with travelers and trade. Local entrepreneurs built gas stations, garages, cafes, and motor court motels, creating a new roadside economy to serve the constant flow of cars. In town after town, you could fill your tank, grab a hot meal, and rest for the night. And thousands of motorists did exactly that every day. Route 66 was a two-lane economic engine, and for many communities, it meant the difference between decline and boom. Amboy, California is a prime example. Before Route 66, Amboy was little more than a railroad water stop in the Mojave Desert. After the highway came through, this remote speck on the map became a bustling oasis for road-weary travelers. Roy's Motel and Cafe, with its towering retro neon sign, opened in 1938 and soon was catering to waves of motorists crossing the desert. During Route 66's heyday, Amboy's few hundred residents served thousands of customers a year as travelers stopped for cold drinks, fuel, or a night at Roy's Motel. Similar stories played out all along the Mother Road. Seligman in Arizona, Tucumcari in New Mexico, Shamrock in Texas, Needles in California. Once sleepy communities were now alive with neon signs, busy pumps, and no-vacancy motels. Each town found creative ways to lure travelers. Some put up flashy eat, shop, stay billboards for miles. Others built eye-catching novelties to make tourists hit the brakes. By the mid-20th century, a drive down Route 66 meant an ever-changing parade of small-town Americana vying for your attention. Route 66 had truly become the main street for hundreds of communities, a lifeline that brought customers and cash right to their doorstep. The boom times along Route 66 couldn't last forever. In the mid-1950s, the U.S. government embarked on building a new interstate highway system, faster, straighter freeways that would span the nation. President Eisenhower, impressed by Germany's Autobahn network, signed the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, and construction of wide, limited-access interstates began in earnest. Over the next 20 to 30 years, 5 major interstates replaced the winding two-lane Route 66. These modern highways bypass the small towns and cut through the countryside with no stops. Great for drivers in a hurry, disastrous for businesses on Old 66. As each new stretch of interstate opened, the traffic on Route 66 evaporated. By the late 1970s, the Mother Road was being deserted in huge chunks. Entire communities that depended on the road saw their livelihoods vanish virtually overnight. Motels and diners that had thrived for decades went dark, one after another. Neon signs were switched off, windows shuttered. The lifeblood of these roadside towns was cut off. In 1985, Route 66 was officially decommissioned as a U.S. highway, its signs taken down and its name removed from maps. After nearly 60 years, Route 66 ceased to exist in the federal highway log. Abandoned America on 66. What happens when a highway dies? You can find the answer all along the path of old Route 66. Drive it now, and you'll encounter eerie quiet in once busy places. There are towns where the lights went out in the 1970s and never came back on, decaying ghost towns that still sit alongside the cracked asphalt. Glen Rio, on the Texas-New Mexico border, is one of those ghost towns frozen in time. In Route 66's glory days, Glen Rio was a popular stop where travelers could gas up, eat, and sleep before crossing into the next state. But when Interstate 40 was built nearby, the highway traffic vanished, the local businesses folded, and the population drained away. Today, Glen Rio is silent and abandoned. Its old cafe and gas stations sit boarded up and gathering dust, and tumbleweeds roll down the empty Main Street. Who stayed behind? Not everyone left when the interstates arrived. In a few bypass towns, some residents stayed behind, determined to keep something alive. A handful of diners, motels, and general stores never closed entirely, surviving on locals and curious travelers. In some places, people simply refused to abandon their homes. One of the most important figures in Route 66's revival was Angel Delgadillo of Seligman, Arizona. In the late 1980s, he led efforts to have portions of the road designated as historic Route 66. That simple act sparked a preservation movement across all 8 Route 66 states. Museums, restoration projects, and tourism followed, proving the mother road still had life left in it. Route 66 today, nostalgia and revival. Today, Route 66 has been reborn as a destination rather than a thoroughfare. Restored diners glow with neon once again. Vintage motels welcome travelers looking for a taste of the past. Towns that once faced extinction now survive on tourism and nostalgia. The revival is uneven. Some towns thrive, others remain quiet and crumbling. But that contrast is part of the experience. Route 66 today is half museum, half time capsule, a place where America's past still lives beside the road. Why this road still defines America. Route 66 endures because it reflects America itself. It tells the story of ambition, migration, prosperity, decline, and reinvention. Even decades after its official closure, the road remains a bridge between past and present. As long as people yearn for freedom, movement, and the open road, the legend of Route 66 will never truly die.